Hello. All right, testing this mic. Checking this mic. Looks like we are good. Double checking the date for whatever reason. Time going by. Let me get this switched over. There we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another stream this week. Today is Thursday, and we will be doing more sanding, our very favorite thing. Oh, that's my dog. Let me get Twitch up on my phone so I can read any comments that come in, because I will not be looking too much at my screen. Hello, Mr. Frike. How are you doing tonight? No worries on the lurk. We're just gonna be hanging out here and doing what we do. So let's get this open up and we will continue sanding. Yeah, I'll put on both gloves for now. Alright. So where did we stop last time? Let's see. Oh, let me move some stuff. Alrighty. Might have to move some of these towels too. So we got a handful of stuff here. This one is done. Oh yeah, we were working on shirts. Finish those. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay. So we didn't do any of her head or anything like that, but we might tonight. This is all done, and these are what we were working on. Oh, I don't even know what this is. This might be some extra flash. Hello, Crapalina. How are you doing tonight? Glad you can make it. Thank you for stopping by and chatting and watching me tonight. We are continuing our sanding on this figure, so let me zoom in a little bit. Just kind of as a review last time, I think we finished this piece. Yeah, so we finished, let's get this focused. So we finished this, all of this flash was taken off on this piece, and then we also finished this piece. We just did a lot of sanding, removing tabs. Honestly, this one wasn't too bad from what I remember. Yeah, there was just a little hole here that we'll have to fill in that came with the kit. But this one was kind of nuts. There's a lot of bubbles. There's some resin that's kind of cut off. Let's see. So yeah, like this corner got cut off somehow, so we'll have to repair that. Yeah, just more bubbles. And I think we stopped last time when we were drilling the bubbles. So we're gonna continue that tonight. Hopefully, let's see. Yeah, you can see all of the bubbles here. These are ones that I noticed in the resin. And so I try to pop all of those or most of them ahead of time, because then that shows me where I'm gonna be needing to putty and I can do it later. And so, did not unfortunately have time to continue popping these bubbles on my own time, so I don't know. Let me take a quick look at them, and then if there are a bunch, which there are, I think I'm just gonna set this piece to the side because we did finish sanding it. Oh wait, no we didn't. Okay. I think I just like noticed the bubbles and I got ambitious, and then only was working on that. And so we need to finish sanding this piece, but I'm not gonna pop any more bubbles because they're just kind of all over the place. So let's just finish sanding the seam line. So this is the seam line right here. You can see that it's quite pronounced. And there's also a little bit of extra stuff here that we're gonna have to take off. And so I will be using a 400 and 800 grit for this as usual. Let's see if I can get this unwound. There we go. Okay, so let's just see how this kind of goes, and actually take off my glove on this side, because I find that when I use my glove on my sanding hand, the glove just gets in between the sandpaper and it's not great. This one is just all bubbles, that's why. There's my little thing. Let's see, I don't know if you got lucky with your kit, or if your eyesight's worse than you thought. Well, hold it up to the light and then you'll see. But yeah, I'm actually wondering that too. I do know that the Whoopie Pie kits that have clear resin, those are, like, the clear resin is almost always filled with these tiny micro bubbles. Every single one that I've gotten has had these tiny micro bubbles in the resin, the clear resin, and it's just like, there's too many to repair it. You just have to live with it, and so that's really unfortunate. So I'm wondering if, you know, I'm a one-off case here, or if like all of her kits are like this. And this is the first bird kit that I built, so, you know, maybe I'll just have to check my other ones and see. There's a fair number of people I know that have built this one too, so I'm wondering what their experience was. Because, like, everyone I talked to made it sound like it was an easy kit, so I don't know. Alright, so we're just sanding in a circular motion here with the 400 grit, trying to take off some of the big seam line here. You may have noticed that I also scrape off a little bit of the resin with my blade, and that just makes the sanding a little bit easier. It smooths it down and removes that extra junk. And then I go over it with an 800 grit. But as always, if you guys have any questions about anything or just want to chat, feel free to leave a comment. This time is for you guys. I am happy that I'm almost done with school for this semester. Finished my final presentation on Wednesday, so yesterday, and now all that's left are my final exams, and so it will be only about 2 weeks left. Very, very excited. Hey, how you doing, Scarlett? Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the watch, the view. Very much appreciate it. We'll just be hanging out here and doing what we do, which is 90% prep. Okay, this is getting pretty close. I'm gonna test the arm again, the right arm this time, or left arm, sorry, and see how that is going. Okay, I think nope, it was the other one. Let's see. Oh yeah, pretty good. So that's a pretty nice fit. Let's see, try to angle this. There we go. So nice fit here. Looks pretty tight. Well, this is like, I have to hold the pieces together because it's not ready, but the fit here is pretty good. So there isn't really any puttying needed, especially because once we take off this extra junk here, it should fit pretty tight. So that's good. Really, that's one of my least favorite things, is having to fix all the gaps and stuff, and so that's a relief. Let's see. Let me do, well, okay, what's going on here? There's another thing right here that's kind of weird. Did I sand this side down? I thought I did. Just giving this a look. Basically, there's a little piece of resin here that seems to be sticking out, but that could be part of the, oh yeah, okay. So this might be a bubble or it's something else, but when I shined it up to the light, it gave off a weird color. It's like a lighter color, so I'm gonna drill into this. Might need to do some repairs on that one later. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of little random thin spots here. And a bubble here too. That's right in the middle of the line. Unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, there's all sorts of repairs and holes I'm gonna need to drill into this piece. So for now, we're gonna move on. I might have to come back to this later on stream and pop more of these holes, but that will depend on my schedule and all of that. So we might return to this piece later. Oh yeah, even along here too. Let's get Just good to spot these. Oh, there's a ton along the side. Okay. I said we're gonna move on, and then now I'm wanting to do this, so let me just sand this down real quick. And get the... Okay, it's like a combination of a seam line. Oh, sorry. I see your question. Don't worry. So glad I've seen you're open to questions. You're making, ooh, first garage kit. That's great. And you want to accumulate as much info on the hobby as possible. Oh, great. I'm so happy that you're interested in the hobby. What garage kit are you going to be making? And also, hopefully these streams help you. The way that they're designed, basically, I do everything from the complete beginning prep and looking at the kit all the way to painting and assembling. So that's a lot to take in. It's not really a sped up tutorial or anything because I don't have time to do video editing. But really, I consider this kind of like a build along, and you know, for people who just want to listen to hours of sanding, I guess. This is for you if you like just sitting and watching people sand. But if you're interested in past ones, they are available on YouTube under my name, Plum Workshop, and it's also on my website. So basically, you can just find me in many places. I'm not quite as active on social media these days because I am going to school full time, and so unfortunately I don't have quite as much time to build, but I do reserve these 2 hours twice a week specifically to build and to answer questions and hang out with like-minded modelers. So thank you, Mr. Freaky. Glad it was helpful. All right, I think we're going to move on to the next piece just because I'm kind of turning this one around and I don't really want to work on this anymore. Let's see, streams do help, and you're going to be making Wanda-chan. I am familiar with Wanda-chan, but not specifically the Poco version of her. That's funny, we were actually talking about Wanda-chan a couple of streams ago and how popular she's getting now. So I'm wondering if you know who like we were talking to before, or if you're just one of the people that's interested in Wanda now, but she's had a resurgence in popularity, so that I think is really interesting. So that's really cool. And the good news is, like a lot of the kits of Wanda-chan are pretty cheap, so it's a good access point into the hobby. Anyway, let's continue on. We're gonna start working on the arms this time. I also want to point out that the sculptor makes little joint connections out of hearts, and this is the only time I've ever seen this with the sculptor, and I think it's just the cutest thing ever. And so a lot of times you just end up with like a square hole like this, but she is very nice about making them super cute all the way through, and so even the joint connections are hearts, and I just think that's so cute. It's really pronounced on a couple of other kits, but oops, this was the first one I noticed it on. Okay, good. Glad you think Wanda's cute. And let's see. Hello, Palico. You have all the Whoopie Pie birds. Oh, and you got the steampunk ones too. Awesome. Yeah, this is the reason why we chose this one next is because I know a lot of people have this kit, and a lot of people, you know, collect the birds, or maybe they've built one already. And so I actually have 2 of them, as well as maybe even more. I don't even know at this point. I have a few kits by Whoopie Pie at this point. Just because they're so, you know, cute and accessible, and so I'm happy to be building alongside everyone else. But yeah, let's get going on this. So, oh yeah, I didn't really show it, but there's there was a tab here, and there's a bunch of seam line running along here, as you can see, with some tab. Looks like the seam line follows along the top here, so luckily it doesn't go across or anything. But then you can see it here as well, and there's some slight tab here. So we're gonna get all of that sanded down, and then I'm gonna test fit the arm again after we've sanded it, just to see how the fit goes, because that, you know, I do like to check the fit throughout. Yeah, her kits are so cute. I really like Whoopie Pie's kits. The birds, oh yeah, now I was remembering. I have, I think, 3 of her birds, this one included. And some of them, like, I like them, but not enough to buy them. And so I'm not like I'll collect every bird because, oh my gosh, I don't think I have the time to paint every bird. But there's a couple that I really like, and this is one of them. And I think when I'm finished with this kit, I'm going to give her away as a gift. Sorry guys, not as a stream gift. It's likely a gift for my mom because she really loves birds, and I kind of wanted to put her in that mini dollhouse and give it to her with this little bird. But we'll see how that goes. I'm not really sure how it will look in the dollhouse. But yeah, that's the plan right now. Unless she ends up so cute that I'm like, I have to hold on to her. But I feel like at this point, a lot of times the kits that I make now, I just want to like make them for people as commissions or, you know, give them as gifts. So there's a couple here and there that stay in my collection, but also I'm running out of room. That's the problem. Because I also collect PVC, and so the combination of that and kits is pretty dangerous. I don't have much room in my detops anymore. And PVC is getting so expensive and big these days that they take up a lot of room, so I'm just ranting though. Sorry guys. Anyway, buy Whoopie Pie birds. They're very cute and they're fun and they make great gifts, etc. Hey monkey. Yeah, we're back on our grind. Back doing what I love to do. You know it. Sanding. I'm not going to use this one. Yep. We are sanding. And so far, though, this kit sands pretty easily, so I can't complain too much about it. Really, I think it's going to be the puttying that's annoying here. Let's get some of this little junk out. But I like sanding too, because once you get the bulk of the sanding done, like you can already kind of see how the kit is starting to look. Because sometimes with, you know, ones like these, you can't even test fit it or put it together because the tabs are really off or it's just like doesn't fit right. And so once you get all of it sanded and smoothed down, it starts to look more like a figure. And then once you get it pinned, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is it. You know, it's happening. So there are fun parts of the prep process too. Hopefully the focus on the camera is okay. Every time I glance over, it seems focused, so I'm not too worried yet. Maybe having these splotches here on the towel are helping the focus. Okay, I'm gonna get the 400 here a little. This is a tough seam line. This way. Don't really want to sand down the sleeve itself. Just want to get in this little crevice. That's where the folds of the sandpaper come in really nice because you can get a sharp crease or as rounded as you want. Let's see. I'm gonna carve some of this out first if I can. Nope. This one maybe. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Let's see, do you happen to see the statue Good Smiles releasing of Rengoku? Rengoku. Is that the guy with the crazy eyebrows? I'm not 100%, or maybe I'm thinking of an Aniplex one. I'll have to look it up, unless you can give me a link. I know that I saw a really crazy Demon Slayer PVC just a couple days ago. That's probably the one, and that one looked crazy. With all the flames and everything, but I didn't know there were two different versions of it, so please show me. I am like up to date-ish. I watched the Demon Slayer movie, and so I do know him. Okay, I think based on that comment, I know what I'm thinking about, but I did not see the price. I only saw the image of him, but those flames look so cool. They look so cool. But I don't know. PVC is insane these days. I don't know how people could justify buying like multiple like E-Stream figures and all of those, because they're like $500 now. They're like as much as a resin figure, and not like this resin figure, like the pre-painted ones. It's just, man. And then to factor in the shipping costs. Wait, what? $3,000? No way. No way, you're kidding me. What scale is it? That's not a typo, right? No way. Is it like as tall as me? Should I Google it? I'm really curious now. Actually, does Good Smile have it on pre-order right now? Because then I can just go on. Oh, 1/4 scale. Oh man, with the flame. I don't know. Is that reasonable? I actually like. I'm not super familiar with scale at that price. And when I think of that scale, I think of like the big ass like first 4 figures and those ones. And some of those can be really expensive. So. But to have it made of PVC and just be 1/4 scale and be $3,000, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna look it up now. I'm really curious. Let's see. Good Smile, Rengoku, PVC. I know there's like a pop. Oh, there's a lot. Okay. Maybe I should check new ones. I keep forgetting they have like the Nendo and the pop-up parade and okay, let me check it's my website. Sorry for the pause here. Yeah, do not see. Oh, maybe it's on there. Nope, let's see. Okay, maybe it's on their Twitter. Oh wait, I see him. Okay, I see him. Let's see. 1/4 scale. Oh man, this is just sad. Who would want this guy? This is like in that pose. No. Break my heart. Oh wow, that's huge though. There's like an image of it next to the Nendo. Let me link this for anybody who is wondering what the heck I'm talking about. I'm linking the one second. I'll try to get rid of that. Here's what we're talking about. So for anyone that's not sure, I don't see the price. Yeah, okay, I see it. Holy shit. Oh my god, those flames though. That's crazy. I love how in the last image they like Photoshop the flames, like you actually have it to make it more dramatic. That's crazy, and it is by freeing, so like I'm kind of skeptical on how like finished that product is going to come out, because like I've seen a lot of people have the freeing bunnies and stuff, and those are also 1/4 scale, but they still like they're okay. I don't know. It's the opposite of what I do. So like I build a lot of really small stuff. I tend to like small figures, and so these big ones to me they usually like lack shading, or they're just not what I collect. But that's crazy. The only thing I'd be worried about with that figure, especially if they're gonna charge that much, because that's crazy, is how well the flames come out. Okay, yeah, I remember that pose from the movie, I think, that was a really pretty cool movie. But I would certainly not pay $3,000 for that pose and that figure. I'm sorry, Good Smile. What are you smoking? That's crazy. You can find so much more like elaborate and detailed resins for, half the price, even less than half the price, honestly. Oops, let's see. I haven't seen what people are saying about it though, so I'm not sure if like people are really into it, if they're saying what a ripoff, but man, talk about like figure prices rising, right? That's crazy. It'd be super crazy to ship that too. I don't even want to think about how much the shipping cost is. And that's what I was getting at, I think, before like we started looking all of that up. Because apparently DHL is supposed to go up next year through Ami at least, and so it's just getting so expensive to collect, and even the figure prices are rising, the shipping is rising. Yeah. I basically have like one thing on order now, and it's Hamtaro, and like that's it. A lot of figures that are actually really pretty that I like lately are like directly from Chinese manufacturers, so you have to get them from like Taobao and stuff. But I have only done that for the Klee figure, so now that I know how to do it, it's like not as bad, but still the process to get it is a little bit unfamiliar, because I do read some amount of Japanese, so I can use the proxies and all of that, but on Taobao and Tmail and all of that, it's a lot harder for me. So let's see, seen a couple people justifying it and others saying yeah, definitely no. That seems about right. It seems like it would be really hit and miss, and like only for the most dedicated fans. I don't know that like changing the base color would justify a price change though, because in all honesty, like as we have seen here, you can basically do anything to a base. You can spray paint it, you can, you know, buy a clear one yourself, you can ask a acrylic shop to custom make you one, and it would probably be a lot less than the amount that Good Smap's charging for it. My goodness. But I don't know, I know people that only collect those quarter scale bunnies, and those are like, 300, 400 a pop. So when you get into that large territory, it gets different real quick. To each their own. If you got $3,000 to spend on Rengoku and he's your husbando, go for it, man. No judgment here. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Mr. Freak. There's like ways that we could definitely bring that cost down, like for real. Yeah, there are easily many ways that you could make that not $3,000. Just buy the cheapo one, do it yourself, and it would be way less. But that is taking a lot of extra effort, which a lot of people don't have or want to do. So there's a little pesky area here that I'm gonna sand, but I need to chop it off first a bit. There we go. Let's see, unfortunate to say, but they kind of made a market to actually buy it. Yeah, unfortunately. Not, yeah, everybody has the same idea here. Yeah, I agree with you, Crapolina. I would be like, I'm going to the beach. I'm going somewhere else with that money. Yeah. I don't need some anime figure. I'm gonna go like across Europe or something. Yeah. Or just like go blow it all at Disney World, because I've been watching like all these Disney World videos, and they're like, spend $3,000 and have a fantastic vacation. And I'm like, man, I wish I had $3,000 right now to go blow on some vacation. But really it is kind of like, there are a lot of ways that you can custom make this stuff yourself now though, which is pretty cool, now that 3D printing is so widely available, and just need, to either find the model. You can even just commission someone to make it for you and then print it. Market's crazy these days. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick snip around here because I've kind of been sanding in a line, but sometimes I miss stuff when I'm just like going at it, so. And holding it up to the light helps too. Yeah, so there's like a little seam line here I missed. I'm gonna switch out my paper. It's getting a little, I've been folding these a lot so you can see all of the fold lines. Try to use a lot up. Let's see. Where was it? Okay, here? No. Oh, where did it go? Well, there's some here, so get that one. Let's get that one out too. So right now I'm just doing kind of a double check through what we already did. And then we'll keep going. I can't tell if that's I think I'm just gonna drill that out. There's something weird there. Let's see, I'm ready to get your resin printer. Gonna be great for small figures. Ooh, yes, definitely. That is exciting, resin printing. What resin printer did you purchase or are you planning to get? I'm gonna switch this glove out too. I think there's like some inks on these that are starting to, oops, don't worry about that. They're starting to stain this resin, so I don't wanna mess with that. Yep, okay, there we go. Okay, where were we at? Okay, there's something here, but I don't feel like we did that. Okay, we were here, and then here, and okay, here's where we need to drill. This might be a Bondo situation. I feel like there's a lot of these little bubbles that are popping up in a line. And for those who aren't familiar with that term, we'll get to that. Okay. It all started because I saw this little line here and then I noticed the other stuff, but I think we're good now, so I'll take another look under the light later. Glad I switched my glove out though, because yeah, I did see some slight staining. Okay, so let's keep going. Now we are on this side of the arm, and not too much left actually, so just kind of this portion left. Oops. This portion here, so you can see the seam line, but we've done all of the sanding on this side. And you can see there's a couple of bubbles that we popped. It's kind of hard under the light, but they're like right here. Okay, there we go. So there's a kind of an annoying spot here, and I'm going to shave that out. There we go. And smooth. Nice, there we go. Also, so I did my Spotify Wrapped, and my results were skewed now because I have my Spotify running for streams, and so my one of my top artists now is the Chilled Cat, which apparently must pop up on a lot of these songs. I don't really pay attention to the artists from these songs because I'm playing off of some DMCA free beats, but I just thought it was funny. I was like, what are my top songs? I don't recognize any of these. And so they came up 37 times or something, so it's pretty funny. So yeah, go do Spotify Wrapped if you listen to music. It was funny. And that's all I gotta say about that. Let's see, are you done for the semester? No, unfortunately, I have, I think, 2 more weeks. It's about a week and a half. So I have next week, and then like Monday, so not next week, but the Monday after that is the technically last day of school, and then it's like finals are after that. So really it's like a week and a half left. So, whew, got it. I can do it. Yep. Finals are the only thing that's left at this point. So, looking forward to being done with that, and then I have a nice long break. Basically after that, classes don't start until late January, so that was kind of surprising. So I'll have plenty of time. I'm hoping to get a lot of work done on my commission, and I also have to start updating my resume because I have to apply for summer internships for my program. So fun times. Lots of things to do even when you're supposedly on break. Let's see, you wish you were done. You got all your deadlines coming up. Oof, when is your last day of school, Mr. Frike? You guys must be, like, how does it work over there? Do you run on like a semester by semester schedule? Because here in the US, we have like, you know, our classes run from like August to December and then January to May typically. But we usually let out in pretty early compared to like regular public school over here. All right, I might need to get some more 400. And I think now it's just, oh, something's going on here. Okay, there you go. It's like some random seam lines left, so I'm gonna spend some time here. It's your academic year starts at the end of September. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. But then it runs like through the holidays. You don't get out before Christmas? Or do you run all the way up into like the week of Christmas? Oh, there's a bubble there. Pop that. Oh, okay, that didn't even need any work. That just opened itself up. Lovely. Okay, sand this down. And I don't want to sand too much around this area because otherwise it's going to affect the fit of the sleeve, which already did fit pretty well. But we still want to take off some of the seam line. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's try to get some of this sanded. So you get a bit off from classes for Christmas, but you still got deadlines. Oh wow! Oh wow! So you guys go pretty long then, in terms of your classes. But how does that work then? You only, because that would be, like, when is your second semester? Or does school only run from September to February for you? That is different from here, so I'm curious how that works. But yeah, that's actually quite a bit left. I'm sorry. There's no break from that. Are your classes going okay though? You doing all right in them? Okay, I think we're almost done with this piece. Get some sanded in between here. Let's see, kind of just want to test this and see where the fit's like. Mostly, yeah, some are more enjoyable than, yeah, that's kind of how I feel about mine too. There's definitely some that I'm more passionate about and willing to put in the work, you know, so when you have a bunch of deadlines, you're like, oh, I'll do that one first because I like this class. At least that's typically how I approach it. All right, I'm gonna test fit this now. Let's get this again, and then we'll take one more look at the sleeve, but I think we're okay for now. Oh yeah, that's a pretty nice fit. So not really any major seam line gap here. Plus also it's being held together. You can see from the front, she'll hold her sleeve like that. And then the top, there is this, you can see the two kind of joint spots, and that's like here. That's because there's another piece that fits in there. She's got this, let's see if I can pull it out. So she's got these little frill bits on the corners of the sleeves, and so that's what they're there for. Let's double check. Yep, that's good. Okay, so let's take one more. I'm gonna look real quick under the light here. Okay, I didn't see any bubbles, so that's a good sign. Okay, I check on the top too. And okay, do one final pass. We will work more on this kit or on these pieces in depth once we get to the putty stage, but I just like to give them a look over to make sure that I didn't miss any critical seam lines. Let's see. Come on, camera. What are you doing? Let's see. Zoom in. There you go. Okay. Seems okay. All right. So let's move on to the next piece, which is the other arm. And this one, same deal. Let's see. Yeah, same deal. This is pretty gross. Seam line runs all the way across. You can see the nasty tab here. There's some stuff that doesn't fit well here that's impacting the fit, and it kind of goes along here and again across the top here. So I'm going to start on this side because it's a little bit easier. There's not as many tabs, and then we'll work our way around again. And then we'll move on to the face because we're pretty much almost done with the body then. That's pretty exciting. So we've got the face, or like the head, so all the hair and all of that, as well as all of these small little pieces in here. But these go pretty quickly, to be honest, because they're just, you know, small pieces, and so we're making pretty good progress. Seems about right for the amount of sanding. My initial sanding on pieces takes usually around 8 to 12 hours, I'd say, depending on the size of the kit and how bad the lines are, etc. So this is right about what I expect. You know what I should be doing too is I haven't taken any work in progress photos of this figure. I think once we get to the pinning and all of that, I need to do that because I am in dire need of material for my social media. I do have a couple of things in the works though, but I know I keep saying that I don't have anything posted, but once I am done with school, all of that will finally be on my plate, and then I can take photos and get all of that uploaded. Okay, let's keep moving this way. So let's see, there's a little line here. Not too bad, actually. That sanded off pretty easily. Man, end of school. It's kind of crazy how quickly this whole year and semester have flown by, because it really does feel like it wasn't that long ago where I was like, hey guys, I'm, starting school, and now the first semester's already over. And I'm only in a 2-year program, so to think that pretty soon it'll just be only a year left is kind of blowing my mind. Time travels fast, or at least life is fast, so do not delay in doing the stuff that you want to do, like building kits or anything, because it will just keep going whether you like it or not. Not to instill a sense of dread in anyone. Just amazed. Alright. Okay, let's get this sanded. Pretty good so far. Trying not to over sand, but these are on pretty flat surfaces, so it's actually not too bad to do. Let's get some of this cut off though. There we go. Whoa, it's super windy outside. Alright, so this is pretty good. Let's see. As you can see, the seam line on this is mostly gone at this point. There's a little bit of something in there, sandpaper or whatever. But the seam line then kind of goes up here, and so we're gonna work our way across. And you can also see there's a tab here that we're gonna have to take off, so. Moving along. I also need to double check her hands here. Does she even come with hands? I don't think she does. Because I was wondering what the heck these were for, but I think it's just for these, there's like these little frills in here. I'm not gonna open it up. But I don't see any hands. Oh wait, is that a hand? No. Oh, that's the bird. Oh, yeah, this kit doesn't come with any hands, and so looking at it, all she's got is this like skin tone here, so that is pretty nice. We won't have to use that much skin tone on it, and it's just a lot of layers and colors, so kind of a fun change. Okay. Can use up some of that mix of color that we used last time, the mystery skin. Do whatever we want with it. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's continue along. Not seeing any lines here. Buffing it out. Sand a little and buff it out. To me, this is a lot less invasive. Okay, there's a bubble here. Oops. Set it down a little. There you go. Sometimes you can see it because that dirt or something gets in it. Let's see. Holding the piece up to the light. Yeah, that was the only one, so. Okay, let's position this. There we go. There we go. Let's get that sanded. What's on the side? Okay, there's like a button or something on the side of her arms too. I actually didn't really notice this because it's kind of hard to see in the reference photo. Let me get another sandpaper. Let's see, I've got my nub pile here. There we go. I don't think I cut that much, so might have to cut a little more. Okay, let's try. Just want to kind of minimize the amount of sanding needed. Try to cut it as close as possible. Okay, now we're kind of entering the area where I gotta be mindful of the folds of the clothing. So we can't just sand at a flat angle, because otherwise we're gonna destroy the sculpting work that's going on here. So you kind of gotta fold into, or sand into the fold, smooth out this area. Yeah, that's pretty smooth. Oh, there's a little bit here. There we go. So you can kind of see where the seam line's starting to fade out. So there's really nothing here, and then it continues on. Just wanted to kind of point out what it should roughly look like as it gets smoother and smoother. Guys hear anything on my camera, that's coming from downstairs. There's some stuff going on. So. Okay. Not too bad. I'm actually able to get most of this off using the 800 grit, and so that's pretty good. I don't really like using the 400 these days if I can help it, just because it is pretty abrasive on this soft white resin. So, oh, there's a hole there. I can see it. Sometimes you can just see them. There's these little indents that it really shows up once you prime it, but even when you can see it on the bare resin, that means you got some fixing to do. Okay, let's get some of that. I have no idea what's happening now downstairs. Okay. Okay, something's going on here. Don't know if that's remnant of a seam line or what. Probably hard to tell on the camera, but it's just like a indent or a defect or something. Okay, so let's cut off a little bit of this if we can. Just lightly scrape. I might need to do that for a couple of areas here. And now let's go across. I'm not going to scrape this too hard. Easy to get the flat surfaces, but once you get like in these little cracks and folds, that's when you really gotta pay attention, because the sandpaper sands off the bigger areas easier. Just take care to Get every nook and cranny. There we go. Okay, so let's keep going. Sorry, I had to make sure that all of that seam line was completely gone, because it's pretty easy to miss a small section. Okay, and I'm kind of scraping off the extra seam line here rather than sanding it. And you just want to be careful you don't take off too big of a chunk. But we are pretty close to the end of this piece as well, because we've already done all of this side and we've gone around. So just, let's see, just this section left here to like up here. And this is where all of the tabs are and the seam lines and stuff, so. Easy color scheme here now that I'm looking, you know, at the kit and really starting to work at it, though there will be some masking involved on this kit, since now I'm looking at it, her sleeve here, so this bottom part here is attached to this one, and so these need to be two different colors, but other than that, the parts breakdown is pretty good. This will also need to be masked off, so pretty easy. We'll mask off the top here, and then can just spray the bottom. But her hair is separated from her face, so that's great. It's always an event like with the little Chun-Li girl we did, where her hair was attached to her face and we had to mask all of that off. That's not my favorite thing to do. It's much nicer if the kit has a breakdown like that, like this, where her hair is separate. So that will be one, and then yeah, most of this other stuff is easily broken down, so that's good. Okay, just thinking ahead. Okay, there's also a bunch of stuff here, so let's see. Can I get that off? Yep. That flew off. And then this. Sorry about that. It's just starting to not focus. There we go. Making some good progress tonight. Shave all that off.
I've got some work to do.
See a bubble here, so let's pop that real quick. Maybe. Let me hold that up real quick. Yeah, it is. Okay. Right here. hello again. Yeah, no worries. You honestly didn't miss that much. A lot of what happens here in these early streams is just sanding. So I think at most, like, we finished this other arm. And so now we're almost done with this other arm piece. And then we're gonna move on to the face. So just hanging out and sanding. That's the deal. Oops, there we go. But we always joke on these streams because it seems like most of what I do is like sanding. So you'll find that we will like wash the kit and then we'll do all of the putty work, and then we'll have to sand more to get all that putty sanded down. And then, you know, we prime the kit, but then we have to sand the primer down. And so there's a lot of sanding involved in garage kits. Which is why some people, you know, try to save the time by buying an electric sander and doing all of that. But I personally don't use any of that on this stream. So everything here is by hand. Well, most by hand. But glad to have you. So tune in. Okay. I think that, let's see, that about summed that up. There's a few holes here. They seem to be pinholes, and there's one on the top here that I am gonna mark. Oops. There we go. Okay. Let me hold this up real quick to the light, because sometimes around the corners here you can find the seam lines. Not seeing any though. So let's do a parts test fit. And this one is on the other side. There we go. So that's pretty good too. Nice fit. That's actually very, very beautiful fit. Over this side too. Yep. Very nice fit. So that's really great. I wish we could hold these two together. I don't think that will be possible right now unless I like tape the kit, so we'll just have to save it. But rest assured, both of these fit together, and I don't see any more issues. Now I don't remember which one I just worked on. Ooh, a Floridan. Fun, 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 fun. Florida is pretty nice. Parts of Florida are actually really nice. I think it just always depends where you're at. Yeah, Mr. Freak is right. So we've got people that come in at all times, and it's really fun to be able to talk with people from all over the place. I'm on the East Coast, US, hence the EST time, and so it's pretty late over in the UK. And then occasionally we get people from like Australia who tune in, and I don't even know what time it is for them when they're tuning in. So it's just so great to be able to, you know, hang out and talk with people. Okay, let's double check one more time because I just did some brief sanding on this. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's move on. Next up, we're gonna work on her face. So this is the kit's face. She does have, let's make some quick observations, I guess. She has eye sockets, which is great. She has sculpted eyebrows, which is really great. That's not something that's commonly on kits. Well, at least it can be hit and miss. And so it's a really nice feature to have that, because otherwise you have to take the time just to paint them on yourself. Let's see what else. She's got, yeah, sculpted mouth. There are some tabs along the side of her face, and there is a keyhole here, and there's also a tab on the keyhole. So we want to be getting rid of this part here. Let's see if I can focus it. Sorry. We want to get rid of this kind of area here jutting out, but not this. I'm looking at the camera while doing this. This part, because that is the area that's going to fit into her head or her torso when it's like that. So right now it won't fit because we have the keyhole, you know, trying to go in. But other than that, yeah, there's another tab up here. I'm not seeing, let's hold her up to the light. I'm not seeing any immediate air bubbles pop up, but that is a concern with the seam lines that we've been seeing. So we'll just have to kind of work on it. One unfortunate thing that I did notice, let's see, is that she has a dot here in her eye. You can see this mark here. That's not from me. That is a piece of dust that's embedded into the resin. And so that's not going to make too big of a deal because we're going to be priming the face anyway. But I don't like it when dust, and especially like dark colored dust, is in white resin, because then, especially with the clear skin method, it can be kind of visible if it's showing through. But we'll be okay in this case because we're going to be painting the eyes as well, or use decal eyes. She actually comes with decal eyes, and so that's not too big of a deal, but just something I figured I would point out in case anybody has never seen that before. That can happen. Occasionally you can get, you know, dust or other stuff in your resin. I've gotten weird things in my resin before. So, but yeah, we paint them. It doesn't show up. It's not really too big of a deal. So, but just imagine like buying a PVC and you see a dust in it like that. It would be that would not be great. Okay, not really any order I'm gonna go in here on the face. I'm just gonna kind of go at it as I see it. And I don't know, does this fit already? Yeah, so her face pretty much, there's a tab here that impedes the fit, but that's roughly what it will look like. We'll do again once we start sanding everything out. Okay. And because the fit is so good on this, we're probably going to be using magnets for a good portion of the pinning here. I don't see any reason not to. This kit seems like it will be pretty stable when using the magnets, and so that will be a good thing to do. There will be some metal brass pinning involved, probably her head as usual, especially because her head's kind of heavy now that I'm holding it, and so with this there's no room here for a magnet that would fit strong enough for that. There is the little resin tab that would probably work, but you'll just get a much better fit with the brass wire into the neck. And I think I mentioned that before. That's typically what I do on all of my kits, is I try to use a pin for the neck connection. Okay, I thought I saw some weird texture, but it kind of went away, so I don't know what happened. Oh, I guess also her foot, now that I'm thinking about it, that will definitely be wire as well, because there's absolutely no way that you can, have a magnet this small. That's just absolutely not happening. My smallest one is 1/16 inch, and this is still too small for that. And so we'll have a brass wire that goes all the way up her foot, and then probably it will have to extend past her foot. There's a tiny little flower base here, and so likely the pin is going to extend out from her foot and go all the way through the flower into whatever I decide for the base. And so she will not only be standing on this tiny flower petal, there will be some sort of acrylic plate or small wooden base or something involved. Or it can just go directly into the miniature kit. I haven't decided on that either. Okay, let's get this sanded. I found a bubble that just popped up, so make a note here. Oh, yep, didn't even need to do anything, it just pops itself, so. Let's see if it will show on the camera. Right there. I like this smooth, flat head. It's making the sanding process very easy. And most of this isn't going to be visible anyway, so she has these big bangs like this. And so all we're going to be concerned about is kind of the front here. So even if we miss some area of this, or if we don't paint it correctly, it's not really going to impact the final look of the kit. So get some 400 here. Looks like the head, it went pretty smooth, so all we'll really worry about now is the neck and then these extra tabs here. So let's kind of flip the piece over because we've been sanding this way to get kind of along here. And now we're going to work this way, mostly because I'm left-handed, so I guess if you're right-handed you do the opposite, and that way we can focus on the seam line from this angle. Just make it a little easier. And now necks are pretty easy to over sand, and so you do want to, be mindful of your seam lines here if you have any on the neck. And they're always, circular. They're cylindrical, I guess, and so you do want to maintain that shape. You don't want to be making it too flat on one side. What kind of sucks sometimes is if the seam line extends up, and then if there was an ear here, that would be unfortunate because then you'd have to go across the curvature of the ear. This kit has no ears then. Now that I look at it, because the hair just fits in like this, and so all of her bangs are, covered up by the hair. Or her ears are covered up by her hair. So that's also pretty nice. Small line out of the way. There's like an awkward hair there. I think it's from my cat. Don't see him though. Alright, so kind of in the crease of the neck here is what we're doing now. Oops, sorry. Did not realize that it was not focused. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. Smooth out this area just a bit. And now I'm gonna take my X-Acto blade and do a bit of shaving, because a lot of this I can just kind of cut off, and then we'll have a lot less to sand down, and that will kind of preserve the area. A little tab here. I'm gonna see if I can clip this first, because I feel like, yep, there we go. I feel like if I took my blade to that, it just would not be a good time. And when you're working on a fine kind of keyhole like this, you want to try to minimize the nippers, because sometimes the resin, if you chip off too much, it'll take off some of the keyhole with it. So just gotta kind of gauge how your resin is, how easy it is to sand, if you have a good cutting point, etc. But this is a pretty tiny neck here. Let's be real. So okay, that one, and I guess we could probably test fit this now. All we have left is a little bit of a line. Let's see. Whoops. Kind of tough because these pieces have to be standing together. But there we go. That actually does fit pretty okay. Just want to make sure the tab fits. So it'll be like that, roughly. And it looks like, I'm not sure what this looks like from a top-down angle. It looks like it matches the product photo, but her head kind of leans forward, so, and it's not perfect. I think I need to shave this down, and we'll do more of this during the pinning. Let's get this. Yeah, there's a little resin bubble here, I think is making it so it wasn't fit well. There we go. But you don't want to shave down it too much because otherwise it'll just kind of fall out. All right, let's try this again. Let's see if it fits a little better. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good. So basically you just want the piece to, I don't know if I can get it at this angle. Let's see. Come on, camera. No, why won't you focus? Okay. Hard to see, but you want to make it so the head fits like squarely into there and you can't see the keyhole coming out, which maybe that's a good idea. Yeah, there we go. So you can't see the keyhole here really. You can see there's kind of an offset here. This doesn't fit right now, but that's because of all the holes. So we're good. Let's wrap up this. All we have left is like this small area on the neck. And then we will move on to probably the back hair piece. That one's got a lot of issues, so actually maybe not then. We'll figure it out. I'm not sure yet. Probably back hair, but that will probably take most of the rest of the night. And that one's got some wacky problems, so I should be able to point that out. Big tab sanded off. So this one, because that is clearly not part of the face. Get it sanded down a bit and then we'll just kind of scrape it off if we can. Should be enough to take it down. Very happy to see only one bubble on this face. Bubbles on the face are the worst. Just a bit left here. Okay, and let's get some of that smoothed down. Just see a slight hint of a line left. And that should do it after that. Give this a final look through. Make sure I did not miss any seam lines. I am seeing a couple of bubbles here that I missed, so let's pop those real quick. They're mostly along the top and in that seam line area. As I think I had mentioned before, I was like, I'm not sure, but that does not look promising. Turns out it was correct. Okay. Oh, there's another one here. So these, oh, wait, what's happening? Okay, I see a few more. So I've sanded enough that I'm starting to see a couple. Quite a few, actually. Ah, man, I spoke too soon. I was like, it's so nice and smooth, but no. Now that I've sanded, I can see them under the light. So let's spend some time and pop these bubbles. They're noticeable enough I can see them from this angle, so I'm just gonna hold it up like this. Okay. Wow, this is much more than I thought. Oh. But they're all on the top of the head, so that's not too bad of a thing. Wow, okay, so this is all the ones that I've popped so far. You can see, hopefully, maybe if I turn it, yeah, there we go. So turning it helps. Look at all the bubbles that I've noticed along the head here. They seem to be centralized more so in this area. There's not quite as many on this side over here, but let me hold this up real quick to the light here. And I think they're all on the top of the head. Yeah, I'm not seeing any in the neck. Okay, well, that's not too bad then. I was afraid they were all over the face, but they seem to be only in this top area, so. Let's get just one or two more. Okay, let's look one final time. I think I got most of them, and then we can always pop more later. There's one more. I'm trying to find it here. Okay, so that should be okay for now. So we'll set this piece aside. It does fit mostly into here now. Actually, that's a pretty good fit. And then once this goes on, which is almost a good fit, it's got this tab here. Oops. Come on, camera. So there's this tab here that's impeding the fit, as you can see. But what that goes, it should be okay. But this fits pretty nicely. And then if you take it out, this fits nicely. So I would assume that they both will fit nicely. All right, so let's set aside this head. We're gonna work on the back of the head for the rest of this time tonight because there's a lot going on, as you can see. I noticed this, unfortunately, when I checked in the kit. You can see there's a huge hole here. This is what I would call a macro bubble, so you can see the shininess maybe in this bubble. That's a huge casting problem and just means that we'll have to fill it in with probably a clear resin to get all of that out. So that sucks. That is very different from this hole here, which is meant for the bird sitting on top of her head. There's huge tabs, at least bigger than the rest of them. The seam line kind of runs down, and there's actually some minor like seam line junk here that we're gonna have to carve out to define her hair strand. The seam lines are very invasive. You can see that they run all along the sides of her hair, and so we're gonna have to sand back and forth or cut each one of these out and then kind of smooth it down, and then it extends back up here, and there's some stuff here as well. So this is kind of a big one. I did notice this when I checked it in, and I was just like, oh boy. On top of that, we might be also dealing with a bunch of bubbles. I'm holding it up to the light now, and there's quite a few in this area here where there were already the macro bubbles, so we'll have to pop all of those too. But then she does have these holes here, and these are meant for her little like bows or the hair pieces, and so these are marked actually quite smartly. one is the shape of an L and the other is the shape of an R. So this is the first time I've seen this too, an actually R-shaped tab. So that's interesting. And I don't think these are supposed to be flat. There should be a little hairband or something, I think, that goes around them. So we'll have to figure that out. But in this image here, you can see there's some sort of little hair tie, and so okay, so these fit in here in between, and then she has the little hair sticking out after that. So that's nice. I could probably take it out and check. Let's take the R out. Oh yeah, I see. I thought these detached, but they didn't. So these are her hair pieces. One is roughly the shape of an R, and I think it goes like this. So we will have to do all the cutting and all of that, but that's really cute. That's the first time I've ever seen an R for the right part of it. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get started. Yikes. Let's just start on this side and then save the worst for last over here. All right, so we got this big seam line tab area we're gonna sand down first. Let's see if I can cut some of that. Oh, it's pretty soft, so. Okay, get that. Don't want to overestimate my ability here. And I actually do need to sand down some of the stuff on the front here too. Kind of a wide variety of issues on this kit, but not fit so far. So that's the good one. That is a plus, that we don't have to deal with any puttying gaps yet. Okay, making a small carve here because there's a seam line that runs in between here, and I wanted to find this hair strand a little bit more, or like this sculpting crease, I guess. Okay, let me get another paper. That one's pretty small, but it will do for now. All right, let us continue. Probably need more 400 at some point as well. Down. Let me see if I have any more 400. I don't think so. Oh, I do have, I don't know what grit this is. It feels very rough. Let me roughly test this. This might be a 320 because I don't pull anything out. That's, yeah, that, we'll see. I'm afraid of damaging the resin here with an unknown grit. But this is a Tamiya one, I can tell from the color of it. So probably the lowest I think I had is 320 or 3 something from them. It's very rigid though, which is that's why I like the 3M paper a little bit more. Yeah, that actually works okay. So we'll finish that up. But then after this, I'm gonna get some more. Actually, I lied. Let's just smooth this down real quick, and then let me grab my 400. It's like right over here. Actually, it's completely around. Let me get up and go under my mic. And there we go. Oh no, that's an 800. Dang it. Okay, there we go. I was bamboozled. Okay, got my big paper here. And now I need my big scissors. So let's cut a little bit of this. This is just 3M 400 grit from your regular old hardware store. I just buy these big sheets and then I cut them myself. It's a lot cheaper than the hobby brand stuff and it works pretty much exactly the same. It's just grits on a paper, so. That should be way more than enough. I think last time I only cut one strand, so put these in my big pile. And okay, this can go. All right, let's continue. Got this. Oh, other side, the left side. Get this focused. Alrighty, just double checking, kind of making sure we're not flattening this too much. Should be okay, I think. That is kind of annoying though. I'm gonna drill this area out right here, so let me point it out if it's visible. See that indent right here where I'm pointing to? If we continue to sand down that, it's going to completely flatten the area, and so it's much easier just to drill a hole into it and fill that hole in rather than, you know, continue sanding it down, because otherwise you end up with a flat head and that's not great. Here you only need to repair one tiny spot, so that's just an easier decision. Save you a lot of time. Alright, now this is where it's gonna start to get slightly picky because we have these seam lines that are running in between defined lines of hair strand, and so what we'll have to do is kind of cut out that seam line with an X-Acto knife, and then I'm gonna go in with some sandpaper and kind of put it into the crease of that line and buff it out as best I can, and that will both preserve the detail and like accentuate it a little bit. So all right, and there's not that much needed to it, so that was pretty much it. So now begins the back and forth. So we have this seam line that runs here down into this hair strand and all along the hair, and so let's just get going, I guess. It's very similar to the work on the frills here, except these need to be not rounded. They should be a little bit pointier, and so we have to be mindful of how we're sanding. You can't focus too much on the tips, or else they'll really start to get rounded down very quickly. But thankfully this kit, you know, compared to a lot of them, the hair is still pretty round now that I look at it. So some anime kits, they've got this really sharp defined hair and these hair strands that if you sand it down just a little bit, you know, it starts to look kind of off because the tips are very pointy and well sculpted. But this kit, there's a little bit more wiggle room. She's designed very round, and so all of these round shapes are, you know, a little bit more forgiving. Maybe that's the aesthetic that I go for. Round kits, round chibis. Okay. Fairly straightforward though. This part here, oh, that kind of just sands out, so not too much needed there. Definitely not going to use the 400 here unless I have to, because that will really tear into the resin, and these sections are pretty delicate. Okay, there's a seam line here. Oh yeah, kind of a, hope that's not a break, kind of looks like it. Nope, just some extra resin. Okay. Working on this tip. Oh yeah, okay. See a little bit of a line here. I'm gonna cut that out. There we go. See if I can get more of that. Yep, that's good. And actually there's a little bit more here. So the seam line is running up and down. You know what would also be handy is, probably not in this case, but that tool we used before with the, trying to think of the word for it, the flexible paper. So if you have something similar going on here, you can use your flexible paper and kind of position it in a way that allows you to get in between the hair strands like this. And so for our case, I don't think that's necessary. I think it would probably do more harm than good because the scale of this kit is so small. But if you are dealing with something like that, as we have in the past, that is an option that's very helpful, is being able to have that flexible sandpaper. But really what you're gonna do is you're gonna sand a hair strand, go on the inside of that hair strand, and then start working on the other side of the next one. And so we're gonna be rotating this figure quite a bit to just make sure we got it at all angles. And I don't think we'll finish this piece tonight, but we should be able to get quite a few of the hair strands done. And that's good. Then all we'll have are the smaller things and the front bang after that. And so I don't think we'll need too much more time sanding, maybe 1 or 2 more streams. Okay. Move on to this next one so then I can gauge the other one. Wow, okay. It's kind of yikes. There's kind of stuff all over the place in this one too. I don't know what's going on with this. I'm very hesitant to dig into that. It seems pretty stuck, so there's some resin here that this is supposed to be a separate hair strand. I think I'm gonna save that for last too, because knowing how I'm like pushing against the kit and I kind of have my finger positioned against it, if you do that at the wrong angle, it will just snap off because it is a smaller hair strand. It's a little more sensitive, so we'll get all this other stuff finished first and then go back and fix those up. Sorry, check. That looks like a... Oh, I hope it's not an air bubble. I think I should be able to sand this down, but there's a little lighter spot that looked like either a seam line or an air bubble, so... No. Yeah, that's a tiny air bubble. But it's only visible at a certain angle. But I don't want to forget it, so there you go. Okay, put it there. Oh, jeez. This is a spot that might need the clear putty to resculpt eventually. We'll see. I feel like I do that a lot lately, is resculpt these hair strands that have these breaks in them due to bubbles. Okay, that should be okay though. We'll mark that spot for now. And so let's continue along here. There's some flash junk on the blade. Get rid of that. Okay. And let's take a look here. Right. Very, very light amounts of shaving off we're doing here. Okay. Let's get that. There we go. Sometimes you just have to get it in the right position. Try to get all this junk off. That area is a little bit tough, not gonna lie. And there's some more here too. Okay. Okay, that should be okay. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that, but I'm not gonna fuss too much if there's tiny bits of seam lines in between cracks like that, because we are not going to see that at all once the kit is finished, so. Like, you gotta draw a line somewhere sometimes. This, though, we can take off. And these are basically like little flat areas we just sand down one by one, so. Okay. I'm gonna get another sandpaper. That one's getting a little bit flimsy. Okay, so for these clean edges here, or for these, I guess hair strands that need some pretty sharp angles, you want to be using kind of a rigid paper. And so if you have a sandpaper that you've been using over and over and over and it's gotten kind of soft or it's lost its integrity, just cut a new one, because you want those sharp angles for the sharper hair strands. What is that? It's like a... Oh, I see. way. Hair strands are not even. That's what I'm finding here. There we go. It's like I cut one side of it and then it formed a line on the other side because they weren't hard to explain. The same level, I guess, and so you end up with one area that looked a lot higher than the other. So we're just gonna smooth that down. There's my bub. Okay. Right, and let's do some brief sanding back and forth of this hair strand. So we're working kind of in this area here where there's a fair number of the seam lines. There we go. Goodness. At least the outside is cast pretty well, and so, you know, the sculptor did have the smarts to put the seams in a spot where even if you over sand or you don't feel like tackling them or whatever, it's not going to be too noticeable, so that's always appreciated. Sometimes I've gotten ones where it's literally like across here, and so you have to really work at it. Seems like it's a bit easier to spot them from this angle as the hair is kind of facing down. Yeah. I'm having a little trouble seeing them from the other side. Okay. That one's okay. So far, so good. I think we're about halfway across the bangs here now. Oh, there we go. Just such a bad spot. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to go in with the 400 for a couple of these. Just try to smooth them out as best as I can. Unfortunately, that will flatten them a little bit too, but that's okay. Gosh, what's happening here? This seam line's pretty bad. There's all sorts of junk here. just nicked that resin up there. Yep. I was not careful about my placement of my X-Acto knife, so there we go. Cut a little bit into it, so then you gotta smooth it out, etc. Okay, this one, let's cut here. There we go. Just some really fine details. That's what we're ending on tonight. I'm gonna try to preserve as much of this as we can while eliminating the invasive seam line. Okay, we're doing pretty good. We are mostly across at this point. There's only a couple areas left before we get up into this section here. Nice crispy seam line. Some of that flash stuff is pretty crispy. Okay, this is interesting. There's a bunch of interesting flash here. Okay, this will be better off if we can shoot it. There we go. Should be enough of the snipping. A little bit of some extra flash and tabbed stuff on the edge here. There we go, much better. I see bubble? No, I'm not sure what that is. I think that's probably just sea mine junk. Looked like bubbles though. Okay, also some stuff to sand up here. And this way. Some minor shading can do. Already that's starting to look a lot better. Cannot tell if bubble or stuff. There's also some like weirdness happening on the tips here. So even though it's not even a part of the seam line, it's some of this still has some extra resin and the little triangle nubs. So I think overall this piece is gonna need some more work. Oh yeah, that was the hole. Okay, take another look here. Okay. Oh, let's do some work here. Oh, what the heck is that? Is that a extra something? Let's try to get some of that. There we go. Also gonna sand in the direction of the hair when possible, because that just smooths the whole hair piece down, and that way it follows the flow of the kit. I think that is a tiny bubble, but I can see it, so right here. Yep. Okay. So knowing that, let me take one more look here. I think there's going to be some more work that we're going to have to continue on, because we didn't even reach this area up here. Yeah, the right side. And I do also want to clean up some of the stuff in here. There's not too much that needs to happen there, but I want to make sure that these little bows fit. Have a good one, Cropelina. Yeah, we're wrapping up right now, so thank you for those of you guys who tuned in to watch this. We managed to finish quite a bit. I think we're almost done with all the big parts at this point, and so the only things left are these and then this. So just her hair and the small pieces. So we're pretty far along. I think we'll be done with this, at least the sanding, in the next couple streams. So next stream will be next Tuesday, the 14th. Just kind of a reminder to check my Twitter if you haven't, because I have a stream schedule posted on there, and due to holidays, there's going to be some times where we're not streaming. So I will announce it again on Tuesday, but we will have some streams not happening this month. So yeah, anyway, look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching this stream, and I hope you all have a good weekend, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.